All right. Good evening once again, and welcome to our ACCA information session. My name is Patience Mukondwa, and I'll be hosting you today for this session. This session is set up in I would say two sessions. So the first session is about the new or the ACCA IRBA's accreditation. And what we have, or what I have on the right, is my agenda. On the left, that's me. My name is Patience, as indicated earlier. I'm the COO here at CharterQuest. So the session is set up in two sessions, like I indicated. The first part is us addressing the new IRBA's accreditation and ACCA's accreditation, right, by the IRBA, the audit pathway. And then, so that's point number 1 and 2. So that is going to be handled by who will take over from me, and then he will address anything to do with that. I will come back on point number 3, talking about the ACCA qualification, the study options, any other questions, and your next steps. So the first 15 minutes of this session is going to be focused on this accreditation pathway, and Mr. T will take over and introduce also our special guest who's going to be taking us through this part. So we also had asked a few questions, and we got your feedback, we got your questions, and I think most of you really want to know about this IRBA route. The rest of the issues we will discuss. So please stay on the session if you want to know more about how we support the ACCA qualification itself. If you have questions around that, I will take it. But the first session is just going to focus on the audit pathway, the updates regarding this accreditation. So without taking much time, I'm going to hand over to Mr. T. He's the CEO, the founding CEO of CharterQuest. That's him at the bottom there. Mr. T, over to you. All right. So while we wait for Mr. T, just some housekeeping.
Sorry, it's fine now. It's okay now.
Oh,
Sorry, I was on mute. I was on mute. I was not aware. Thanks, Mary. All right. Thank you, CEO. Thank you for a very warm introduction. I appreciate that so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all excited to have you here today. I see it's full house. I see more people are joining. I know that some of you want to hear about the ACCA IRBA accreditation. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 2 years, I was privileged and honored to be working on the IRBA Accreditation Committee that was set up to evaluate ACCA and determine whether it could be granted a license. In doing so, I worked very closely with one lady that I'm going to be introducing shortly. She's called Nadine Carter. Nadine Carter is the Director of Education and Transformation at IRBA. When we saw the opportunity to share with you, a lot of you had been asking, what is this all about? You know that we are leaders in this ACCA institution. When we saw the opportunity to exchange and share with you, we decided to contact IRBA itself as well as ACCA, and at short notice, we are honored that they agreed to come. So without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite Nadine Carter. Once again, Nadine is the Director of Education and Transformation. She basically led this accreditation project. It was a huge panel of experts from everywhere. We all ultimately worked within the framework of some committees, and then we reported to her. We've shared with her some of the questions that you asked. I'm sure some would arise. Nadine only has 15 minutes. I'm sure she probably only has 10 minutes because we got her at short notice and she was to jump into some other meeting. So Nadine, I'm sure you are here. I saw you on. We're going to bring you on board now. You can take some time, do your brief presentation, and then if you allow, we're going to share some of the questions that we received. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks very much, Valentine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Nadine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a great honor for me to be speaking to ACCA students and possibly our future RAs for the very first time after the accreditation decision. So thank you for this opportunity, Valentine and CEO. Apologies that I could only possibly stay till about 10 to 7. I have a commitment at 7 o'clock related to a family bereavement. But let me just quickly go over the process to date, and then I have looked at your questions, and I have some answers to some of them, and some will come through later on in our work with ACCA. So firstly, I've been working in this profession for 35 years. I've worked at SAICA, ACCA itself. I was head of ACCA South Africa for a period of 3 to 4 years. And in the last 3 years, as Valentine's indicated, I joined IRBA in September 2019, and ACCA submitted their final submission in June 2020. And our IRBA board confirmed on the 6th of July that IRBA is accrediting ACCA as a professional body, that its members, once completing the routes, can then also acquire auditing rights in South Africa. This is a phenomenal decision by our board. Our mandate does clearly indicate that the IRBA should be accrediting more professional bodies, and as well, it is a standard practice in other jurisdictions that there's always been more than one body that leads to the auditing rights. So we've worked very well with our accreditation committee, specialist working groups, and through Valentine and his colleagues, also subject matter experts. So all in all, there were probably about 35 people in that process. Went through numerous committees of the IRBA, our management committee, our education committee, accreditation committee, and the board. So by all means, it has been a rigorous process. So the decision to accredit ACCA is documented on 6th July. We did a brief media release on the 7th of July. And the accreditation process validity period is 5 years, as will be with SAICA as well. And we've noted that the effective date is 1 April. So what's important about that is that despite ACCA having met all the criteria and all the requirements, both organizations need to get ready in the terms of logistical arrangements, in terms of policies, processes, and so on, tailoring ACCA's processes to the South African market, and also the IRBA tailoring its processes and policies to include an additional professional body. So in that light, we have met with ACCA post-accreditation twice already, and we met with them especially today to, just give me a second, sorry. Sorry, we'll be meeting with them monthly in order to get us ready for possibly the registration of the first ACCA member on the audit development program on the 1st of April. So there is work to be done in terms of what you're going to be interested in terms of creating personas around what is the type of process we could follow for current ACCA members that may meet some of the requirements of the route, current trainees that may meet some of the requirements, SAICA trainees that may want to convert. So I just want to say to you, and I will go through the specific questions and shoot to that immediately, because that's more relevant for all of you on the call. But we are fully aware that there's a lot of excitement which we're enjoying, and that we are very serious about working towards answering some of those practical questions as the months unfold. And we will have various communications and a marketing plan to deal with that. Where will you find information? At the moment, we need to update our website under the education section, under accreditation. Our website is a little bit outdated, so we are busy updating it going forward anyway. And then I also did speak to ACCA today about trying to create a more localized information center or presence, so that people don't need to go through the global website to find out information about the South African jurisdiction and particularly this process. So we are collating all your questions, and thank you very much for listing them. So Valentine, can I just run through those? I've got 25 questions here.
Sure. Do you want us to share the screen? We can share the screen so you can run through them. Sure.
So number one, how long does registration as RA take for an ACCA professional? So the ACCA professional will have to complete certain specific subjects in the strategic professional level in order to first qualify to come to the IRBA. And then I like that 18 months is somebody that knows that the IRBA has a specific audit development program, sorry, which does take 18 months. That is a specialist audit program. So even all SAICA members, once they've completed their CASA, which is a general chartered accounting qualification, through their audit firms, they register with IRBA as a registered candidate auditor. Their registered auditor registers as an oversight auditor. That 18 months is a practical process. They document their audit experience while you are working on an audit. There's no additional classroom training. There's no additional physical exam. The assessment is done via a portfolio of evidence and is reviewed every 6 months. And finally, it is then reviewed by my ADP manager and team, and then reviewed for approval by 3 registered auditors, goes through an audit development committee and the education committee and reported to the board. So that's the process. What we spoke about with ACCA today is what would that ACCA professional look like at the moment? And I think it's dependent on what courses they've completed, what additional courses they need to do, etc. So we haven't added additional courses. Rather, we have specified, obviously, for instance, advanced audit and assurance as one of the strategic modules. Of course, ACCA's compulsory modules are your strategic business leadership. What's the other strategic paper? Help me there, Valentine.
Strategic business reporting, SBR.
Correct.
Strategic business reporting.
So you can, so those 3 are definitely the ones that you would need to complete. ACCA will work on some localization around legislation. For instance, the South African Companies Act, the Audit Profession Act as amended, the King 5 governance, etc. But remember, those details are not ready yet. So that gives you an idea. So I think I've explained the route to becoming RA. SAICA or ACCA, you need to first meet all the requirements of being a member, and then you do the 18 months. On the 18 months, there is a process where we could reduce the 18 months, but that's on a case-by-case basis based on audit experience, actually conducting audits. Question 3. All the requirements needed to become a registered auditor. I sort of explained that. We will do a lovely detailed process and diagram for you. So it's the first 9 modules or BCom or your knowledge and applied skills, then those 3 strategic papers, and then I think there's an option, an optional paper which we'll confirm and discuss going forward. So in other words, if you wanted to start, you could probably get started around the 9 modules and the 2 compulsory ACCA modules, your business leadership and business reporting. Question 4, the process to be followed as an ACCA member to register. I've answered that. Question 5, do you still need to serve articles in order to register as an RA, or the ACCA qualification alone is sufficient? So what's important about the articles is the articles needs to be done by the firm that has selected audit as a specialism. So you're all aware that you can do your 3 years articles with the ACCA qualification. You may not touch audit. So that's important. We're currently working with ACCA around a training contract that will address that process. And today we agreed with ACCA that they can start the process of accrediting audit firms or prospective audit firms to start being accredited as approved employer audit in order to proceed. You'll be aware that some firms already run SAICA articles and are already registered with IRBA, and some of them also have ACCA students. So that process should also unfold in the next few months. Question 6 is what I've answered already. Do you need to do 3 years articles in auditing? The answer is yes. I have SAICA articles. Does this impact this program in any way? So what we said to the ACCA is they are fully accredited as a professional body. So as the regulator, we do place reliance on their process for determining whether somebody that has done SAICA articles will or will not meet their requirement, the ACCA requirement for the 3 years articles. But we will work through various case studies to make it very clear. So the idea is for us to communicate clearly to everybody what the next steps will be, what the criteria will be, how people will apply, etc. Number 8. So I'm going fast because I just want to try and get to most questions. Completed my become to UNISA or SAICA articles, that's fine with the articles would be recognized. I've answered that. I will go through a process of recognition of prior learning by ACCA as approved by the IRBA, but that process does exist. For most of you that are in South Africa, you understand that SAQA does prescribe certain principles around recognition of prior learning, as long as those processes are fair, transparent, etc. So that process will unfold. Exactly how much recognition will still be determined, number one, by ACCA and IRBA's principles, but also on a case-by-case basis. Our audit firm paid to assist ACCA members with this process. Must the ADP program be completed at an audit firm? So the ADP must be completed at an audit firm because you are working on actual audits. The online bit has become tricky because we do know that some work can be done remotely or virtually, but there's what's happening now at the moment is there's a hybrid system. So audits continue during COVID, online and virtually, with varying degrees of success, but we didn't see any drop in audit quality during that time. Exams, ethics, make 3 requisites to become certified with the association. So I think that both ACCA and the IRBA will try our best to streamline and communicate effectively. And, there may be ACCA students at audit firms that will now be able to work on audits. We also understand that there may be some SAICA trainees that may be able to convert. These are all questions we're aware of, and we'll work on them in quite detail going forward. So don't expect answers in the next 2 months. We're probably working closer to sort of end of December, January, but towards end of March next year. Completing exams, not prescribed by draft requirements. So I think being in South Africa, even your underlying knowledge and applied modules, it is important that you would have done South African tax and business law, because that's what was matched in the competency framework. If you're working in this jurisdiction, it would be very difficult for you not to understand the legislation around the work that you do. Remember, when you audit, you are auditing a business. The financial statements are not independent of the business and the industry in which that business operates. So you would need to understand the laws that business would have needed to comply with. Subject requirements. Sorry, I don't understand that question. I can come back to it. Exemptions for those at professional level. Yeah, good question around that. It's also something we'll need to work on. We did accredit ACCA based on the general audit, advanced audit and assurance and audit and assurance module. But of course, we would want some contextualization of that because, as I said, you would not be able to understand the confines of the Companies Act. The Companies Act, obviously, as you know, defines which organizations have to be audited and under what circumstances the PI score kicks in, etc. So no, Valentine, am I correct? We didn't include advanced tax as a compulsory. If I'm correct,
it was not there. We didn't include it. No.
It says So there's the 3 are compulsory. Your
Yes.
SPL, your SPR, your AAA, and then there was an option between advanced tax and
AFM.
AFM.
APM.
Thank you.
APM, sorry, APM.
Sorry, APM, not A. Yes, okay, perfect.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we will address that with you. So that was a big debate at the committee, but we wanted one area where you did have an option. A foreigner, it's 20 registered RA. At the moment, we don't have a process for that, but that's not because it's ACCA. The IRBA itself still needs to conduct its own processes and framework for including RAs that are RAs in other jurisdictions in South Africa. And that has got nothing to do with the professional body. It is our mandate in our act, but we need to develop that framework. And that can only happen if we have a mutual recognition agreement or an MOU with us as a regulator, with another regulator in that country. So, for instance, at the moment, we started that process with the Financial Reporting Council in the UK and ourselves. We don't enter into MRAs with professional bodies. We need to do it with our equivalent, which is a regulator in another country. So the answer for the no at the moment has got nothing to do with ACCA. It has got to do with IRBA's own policies that we need to draft. We're hoping that that framework will be ready in April, and then we will start proceeding with other jurisdictions. So we're starting with the UK simply because they approached us firsthand. Specific ACs when it need to be taken, I've mentioned some of those. And I practice as a chartered accountant in South Africa. So the chartered accountant route is an ACCA route. That doesn't necessarily need to be under IRBA's instruction. ACCA is is a recognized professional body with SACWA, and ACCA members currently have various profiles that they can pursue by virtue of the Companies Act. We only come into play when it becomes a chartered accountant that wants to audit and you want to be an RA. On the day, I'm here. Question 18. Training is done specific to audit firm. Yes, all training needs to be done in an audit firm. If you've trained outside of audit, then the ADP becomes 30 months. So SAICA, for instance, has specializations in tax. So you may have gone into a big firm and you're in the tax department, etc. But so if you're not in audit, but you've completed and you're an ACCA member, your ADP process then becomes 30 months. We only have 2 individuals that are on that 30-month ADP program. So they've decided to come back to audit, and that's very exciting for us because you know that the audit, as an attractive profession, it takes a special person, I believe, to want to become an auditor. So we welcome those that are returning. Basically want to know what next for me. So yeah, that question, it will be trying to do certain personas, like ACCA member for 5 years has done audit, ACCA member for so many years not done audit. That will come through. And ACCA is very excited, so they've been working on this already. And as you know, ACCA, because of its experience in other jurisdictions, we expect that the communication will also be quite clear. And become RSA. So at the moment, IRBA's jurisdiction is around RAs. If ACCA members want to also become CASAs, that will need to be done directly with SAICA. We don't transfer our legislative power to anybody else. What's the difference between there should be no difference between a CASA RA and an ACCA RA, because both professional bodies have met the requirements of IRBA in terms of the accreditation standards, but most importantly, in terms of the competencies that are developed through an ACCA route or a SAICA route. But thank you for that question. It's a very important one, and it's important for us as a regulator to be clear that there's no difference, there's no distinction, because both organizations, both routes will have met the IRBA requirements as a regulator. Sign of AFs and audit reports. So yes, if you've become an RA, you get full rights as a registered auditor, and depending on the legislation and what entity you're auditing, whatever relates to an RA would relate to an ACCA RA. sounds very. It's great to say that, by the way, after so many years of working on
Yeah,
what
yeah.
jobs on offer in South Africa. That's a general question. I can't really answer that. Valentine, I'm out of time. I don't know if you want to address anything quickly with me.
Just
So Valentine, if you don't mind, if they want to send questions directly to you,
sure,
so not to flood my email immediately because it's going to get stuck
sure,
in my email. We thought we had
sure,
set up an accreditation email. So if I get that right with my IT team, then we can also do that. But of course,
sure,
we've got general queries that come through to our company secretary at IRBA on an
sure.
email called board. But we really are encouraged by the participation here, and I really am very serious. We look forward to welcoming some of you onto our RA register in the next couple of years. Thank you very much.
Nadine, before you go, thank you. I appreciate so much. I know the notice was short, but you so selflessly jumped in to say you're going to come here and do this presentation. I appreciate it so much. From the way you've taken it, I can see a lot of details that even myself, who was part of the process, I was never going to be able to respond. So I appreciate so much. We are happy now to release you. But rest assured, we'll engage with them. If there are follow-up questions, we're going to document that and make sure
Yes,
that it comes through to you. We're all excited about the journey ahead. Thank you so much, Nadine.
Thank you, and please extend the invitation anytime. We'll make a plan to attend.
For sure,
So,
for sure. Thank you so
good luck
much.
to all of you with your studies wherever you are, and your training, and hang in there. It's not always easy, but nothing good comes easy. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nadine.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Sure. COO. So
Yes.
I think there might be a few more follow-up questions. I don't know if we've exhausted the time for this. We can go to what we wanted to cover and then still open it at the end. If there are any questions that we can answer here, fine. But I'm sure the sense is that this decision was just announced. A lot of the details, I see meetings are going back and forth. A lot of the
Yes.
details is still being worked out on. So there's a good chance that in 3 months' time, we would have a bit more specifics to some of the principles that Nadine has provided. But yeah, if there are follow-up questions, it's good to know them so that as they work, the ACCA and the professional about the work to synchronize the process, if one can anticipate all the questions that could be out there. So by all means, let more questions come. Maybe we can continue now with our program for the day and then revisit this at the end. So unless there's anything specific, I can also jump to another meeting, then come back again at the end to deal with this part if there are issues.
Sure. Mr. T, there are just two questions that I would it's just actually one question. One was a comment, but I think we can reserve that.
Sure.
So I've got Mohammed. I know you have to go, Mr. T, and I'm just going to steal 2 minutes of your time.
Sure.
Mohammed is asking, hi, Valentine. I wanted to know if my elective modules are AA and AFM, will I qualify as an RA?
No, the simple answer, Nadine did answer that, but let me begin. Yes. The simple answer is that no, you will not qualify. The way ACC has structured it, they've said, if you want to go this route, one of your elective modules, audit you must take. Audit is a given. If you don't take audit, then you can't go the route. And then they've given two other modules, which you must take one. That's what is either APM or tax. So you have it. If you go and take AFM is not one of the modules. And the reason is because when we did the evaluation, we found out that the ACC AFM is a very good model. It's very advanced. It's much more advanced than what auditors need. So they were more trying to map out the ACC competency to the competence that auditors need. So they found that AFM was far different from what auditors need. Is more of a financial management as opposed to accounting and reporting. So IRBA then decided to say, okay, if you want to go unless something changes later on, at the time we finalize the process, if you want to go the audit route, then you must take advanced auditing. That's an elective you must take. And then between APM, which is advanced performance management, and advanced tax, you must take any one of those two. So to answer your question, if you took auditing and you took AFM, it's not good enough. It's not going to take you through this audit route. So if you have already done that, you have passed auditing and AFM, then you still have to come back and take either APM or tax to qualify. Or if you have not yet done AFM and you intend to go the audit route, I recommend you don't pursue AFM. You rather choose between tax and APM to add to auditing. That will guarantee you the path to the audit route. That's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. T. Thank you for that. And I think the last question I had from Karen is that, are there any restrictions to electives? I think you've already answered this. Elective if you wanted to complete all. Okay, I think the question is, can you take all four exams if you wanted to complete all of them just for knowledge sake?
All 4 electives?
Yes, like all 4. So instead of choosing 2, you take APM, AFM, ATX, AAA just for knowledge.
Even before now, it was always open for you to take 2. We know students who have taken 2 and they came back to take the other 2. So that's not an IRBA issue. Anybody who wanted to do all 4, they have been able to do it. You might find that you want to go into industry, you need 2 of them. You want to go into audit, you need the other 2. So that is not going to cease. Linked to the answer I just gave, if you took all 4, it still means you have taken advanced auditing and you have taken advanced performance management, advanced taxation, and AFM. It means you just have one more than what is needed anyway, so it will still not affect your ability to go through the audit route.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. T. Minentle, I hope your question has been answered in terms of the electives. And before I release you, Mr. T, I think either questions, Ayanda, if they say AAA, okay. Ayanda is saying that on ACCA, they said AAA or ATX and AFM. I do think that we are still at the stages where these modules are still being finalized. Mr. T, I'm not sure if you may have any clarity on that.
Well, it's the same answer I've given. Like I said, unless something, I know they are working on the details. At the time this was announced, it was going to be advanced auditing and either APM or tax. Unless they come back and revise that, we don't know, but that is the decision that was made. I doubt they're going to change that.
Okay, no, that is perfect. Tabang, your question, can I become an RA ACCA if I only started with SBR after accreditation? So, Mr. T, I think this was answered before I let you go.
Yes, I mean, Nadine did say that the window will open. They will start implementing this from April next year. So if you have passed a module before this whole process, it is still welcome. I mean, there are people who had started ACC that passed some of their modules 1 year ago. You have passed those modules, you've passed those modules. The only point is, at the time you applied to IRBA, have you passed all the modules? Yes. For the elective subject, did you pass advanced auditing? Yes. Did you take either APM? If yes, then you can go that route. There's nothing to say because you had already passed the module before. Otherwise, they'll be saying, for you to become a registered auditor, all of you must only be starting ACCA now after the announcement. If that is the case, then we can only start implementing this in. But from April next year, people can start going into this program. And there's nobody who's going to start ACCA now and finish by April. So that should tell you that people who had already started studying ACCA, passing some modules, those modules will continue to be used as part of the entry into the RA program.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. T. I think the rest of the questions, I mean, there's one from, obviously there's feedback from the ACCA website.
I've got to go now. There's somewhere. I'm going to come back at the end. You asked for 2 minutes. I know we committed to do this. I want to come back at the end, but I've got something else pulling me here. I want to rush to it, and there at the end, you can, more questions, that's fine. I'm happy. I can just come back at the end. If there are any ones, I can help you clear them.
Okay, that's fine. And I think if anyone drops, the session will be recorded. So you'll be assisted. Thank you, Mr. T, for your time. And we will speak to you later.
Sure, pleasure. Thanks, sir.
All right, sure.
All right, bye. Thanks, everyone. I'll be back. Sorry, what time are you finishing? What time are you intending to close?
All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining. We will now want to move to our next part of the presentation, I think Ayanda, there were also Dylan, you did share that, in terms of what you see on the ACCA website as you shared. Like as indicated by Mr. T and by Nadine, a lot of changes are still being developed and things going on about, and more information will be provided. So I will suggest that we stay put and wait for more information around these changes. And then Minenhle, there was the question about the SA variant was answered by Nadine. She did say that yes, it would be beneficial for you to take that. However, she did include that there would be a full developed module or case study where they will address more in terms of the variants and everything. But she did address that it would be recommended to do the SA variant because that is what you'll be working with locally. So Tabang is what if I pass through exemptions. So Tabang, normally with ACCA, you would get your exemptions until here. And then from here, you would take these papers, SBL and SBR. These are what also Nadine did emphasize on. Unless there might be any changes, I'm pretty sure we will get more information regarding that. But once you're an ACCA student, because your qualification would have been exempted based on the knowledge of these modules, already you should be a student and you should have taken these papers. Normally, ACCA does not exempt, so you should be able to continue on that route based on doing your SBL, SBR, and your ethics module. Right. And then Dumisani, I think that issue was addressed, and Mini, you repeated the same thing that was addressed. So I think what we'll do is we will open maybe an open or probably a web page where we will work with ACCA, we will work with the IRBA, and we'll continue updating information around that. So Cindy, your question about I have already completed ACCA, it was addressed earlier that there will be a path for members who would be saying that I have completed over 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or what is the path for existing members. So I think what we'll do is we will hang on and wait on what would be the path, because that module is being developed going forward. I hope that helps you, Cindy. So there's no information that has been developed at this point, and I'm pretty sure from all your questions that you've provided us today, they are going to assist the ACCA team and IRBA to provide more information and clear pathway in terms of where there might be a confusion or what has been developed or updated after the committee met. Like what Mr. T said, at the time they met, certain things were agreed. And he did indicate in his introduction that unless if anything was updated, this was the route that was taken. So I just hope that we all understand, as even IRBA indicated, everything is still at a premature stage. There is excitement. They are also looking at screening what can be addressed now based on the information that is available. And they will also work on, we will send more of the questions to them as they have requested. So we will also create a platform where you can continue asking questions and you'll continue getting that support. So if there are any questions, Mr. T will join in. I think by 8 o'clock, you should be here so that we can conclude on that aspect of the accreditation. So moving on now to the agenda, I think we have concluded point 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So we have concluded point 1 and we've concluded point 2. So I will just go through to, obviously we've got maybe new students, new ACCA students, or we probably have existing students who would want to understand the qualification. You'd want to understand how we support and how to become an ACCA student. So some of you are already new, some of you are in the process of registering, or you're already members. I think those who are members, you definitely would not need more information about ACCA because you'd have qualified, unless if you'd want to have any questions answered. Please send in the chat box. A recording will be sent in case you need to drop We will remain engaging and share information as much as we go. Let's not take one issue around AA and AAA and the changes and portray some misinformation. I think we were quite, we appreciate, we had IRBA, they managed to join it last minute, and I'm pretty sure you all appreciate that there is still quite a lot to work out around this. And I'm pretty sure even on the ACCA website, there is less information available. So I'm pretty sure that we should be good as we go. So, okay, now over to the next part. Question 1 to 25 was around the IRBA accreditation. So 26 to 27 is just about CharterQuest. So someone was asking, this is with regards to CharterQuest professional level course. As an international student, what would I need to obtain a letter of acceptance to use for visa, and how long will I be expected to complete the course? Just the final 4 exams of the qualification. So can I please ask someone from my moderators, CharterQuest team, can send you the international student policy in the chat box. I'm not sure if you're here, or you can still request. So there is an international student policy you need to follow. Once you follow that policy, we will provide you with a letter. And in terms of how long does it take to complete the professional level course? So the professional level papers are 4, essentially. You need to have SBR, SBL, and AFM and APM, right? Or whichever 2 options. I think let me rather not use options. So it's SBR and SBL and 2 other options. So it can take you a year. It depends with how you take the exams as well. But typically, if you say, I'll take 2 exams in June or 2 exams in December, or it all depends with which ACCA session you want to take. We do have the September session, we do have the December session. So it's all up to you how you would want to take the course. But in a year, you should be able to complete these papers. Also, it all depends with your work-life balance. But I see you are a student probably trying to come through to study, so you probably have all the time. Then there was another question, why is your ACCA course starting so late? The syllabus is so big, and also now bringing TX question, maybe your lecturers must incorporate TX knowledge just for brush up. So we do have a process to incorporate our new students who would be at ATX. Unfortunately, we would need our students to come with prior knowledge of ATX. So yes, as much as ATX is long, we do have our plan. We do have a scheduled scheme of work that even the ACCA has accredited to offer. So you may find that the time is not enough, but we do have the lecturer who takes the ATX course is actually an accredited tax practitioner, and he knows the stuff very well. He's been producing excellent pass rates on that schedule that you have noticed. On the first day of class, is able to guide you on what you will need, what you need to have. And if you don't have prior knowledge on TX, we will guide you to say, this is what you need to have, or almost like assumed knowledge. So when it comes to this professional education, and also with these modules, yes, there is an extent the lecturer can introduce the course to you and help you to get started. But for people who studied a long time ago, the lecturer will actually give you and say, you need to do this. The fact that you also asked this question is good, because our course will have an introduction and go straight to the main. So if you probably had an exemption or you studied a long time ago, we definitely would recommend you prepare for the course. And our course will only start after the September exam session, and everything is planned around that. And to ensure that we meet the December session, like I said, we do have a proper structured course that has been producing results, and hence we still have our gold accreditation by this date. Then, is CharterQuest willing to have online classes for tutoring and supporting students? We are not willing, we're already doing it. So if you want to join. We do have online classes. ACCA students can join. Our live stream class will be running at the same time with our on campus, and the lecturer would be interacting with both. We do have study options for both students who would want to study either online or want to study on campus. So our team can always reach out to you if you asked about question 28. But the good thing is that my presentation will also touch on that. So I'm pretty sure some of you already have gone through to understand who is CharterQuest. Hopefully you're not a fly-by-night school, but I'm pretty sure you now have a good sense of who we are, our affiliation with the ACCA, and even the involvement with organizations as far as IRBA, how our team is selected. So Mr. T is the founding CEO. He is very passionate about ACCA, CIMA, all the chartered designations. He plays around the area. So that's why we are called CharterQuest. So we play around our chartered designations. So whether it's CIMA, CFA, we are offering those chartered designations. We are a gold accredited tuition provider. So this means ACCA actually recognizes us. We go thorough reviews of our courses, resources, support. There's quite a lot that we do each year, and including meeting ACCA's pass rates in regaining and maintaining our accreditation over the years that we've been teaching. We've got 4 campuses. So 3 campuses are all based in Gauteng. And then the 4th one is our virtual campus. So the way we are having this interaction today is almost how the classes will run. Today we are being hosted by the online campus. So that's why we have got 4 there. And locally with other accreditations, I think you can see we are accredited. We are currently under the QCTO, and very soon we'll be moving on to register with the Department of Higher Education. So it's a long path. We've been with FASTED, now we are moved to QCTO. The goal eventually in the, following the regulations, we will eventually register with the Department of Higher Education. So we do sell both Kaplan and BPP books. Even in our course packages, we do offer both Kaplan and BPP just to help students get that more questions to practice before exams. And then there would be a study text that they have to go through. So I will touch more on that. And then we are a exam center for ACCA. So that is something that you would look forward to. So if you are new and you're wondering, then, if I can become a registered auditor, what is this? What is this qualification? So ACCA has got what they call their competency framework. A lot of students would have or would understand or would want to know, what is it that I'm gaining out of studying this qualification? And you find that this is what ACCA is trying to achieve. So this is almost like, this is what we want our members to be able to do. These are their strengths. So that's why you have seen that one of the modules for you to become an RA is audit and assurance. And, while we still explore other options, there was taxation that was there. And you can see it's part of the technical competences that ACCA says, this is our qualification and this is what we are focusing on. Then you've got your management accounting, your financial management, reporting, risk and control, stakeholder relationship management, leadership and management, strategy, digital technology, and advisory. So ACCA has taken all of these, right, and say, okay, so how do we teach you strategy? How do we teach you auditing? How do we get you to learn and understand to be a management accountant? At the end of the day, I think there was a question that was asked, which was question 25, about where can I work? You can see from this framework, you can work in business. You would be able to drive the strategy, become an innovator. This is where your CEOs are sitting. You're leading organizations. You know how to work with people, internal and external stakeholders. You know how to assess risks, how to ensure that the business is complying in certain things, how to ensure you've got internal controls in place. So there goes your reporting if you want to go being the accountant route. So ACCA is just not about accounting, number crunching. Yes, you can, but at the end of the day, you've got then the option to say, okay, when you get to those modules, which path do you want to take? Do you want to take the audit pathway, or do you want to go and work in business? So that's where you can make a decision. So I will explain in detail when we go there. So these are the subjects that you have to face as a student. So ACCA has got 3 E's. So the first one would be your exams, there's ethics, and then there's experience. So what you just need to understand is that, okay, no, I'm a student, so what I need to do is I need to pass exams. I also need to make sure that you've done the ethics module and or you understand the professional skills that are required as an accountant, right? And then the work experience component. So ACCA has got its general 3 years work experience. So this means that as you study, or even what you've gained before you studied, you need to log in your 36 years experience. So there is a logbook that actually you put together, which the good thing is ACCA has got it an online version. So you would be following your PER, filling in the performance objectives. I think there are about 14 or so, if I'm not mistaken. So you will be selecting which ones under which area. So more information about the work experience is there on the ACCA website. ACCA is very supportive when it comes to the work experience. They've got a dedicated team that works with employers, that works with those who are with their approved employers, and how the processes are done. So where we fit in and where we are is mainly here around exams, right? So what we do is we do have a lot of our students will start here, and this is where we gain more interest. So this is where someone who does not have a degree, you've got metric that allows you to start at the ACCA qualification. So you would start at the applied knowledge module or level, right? And then you take these 3 modules. So this is business and technology, where you understand the macro, the microeconomic environment where businesses operate. And then you go on to understand financial accounting. So these are the basics, and the management accounting. Then you move on to applied skills. Some students already will come with qualifications in business or in finance. You find that even your qualification will probably be an ACCA accredited qualification. So that's where you are able to then say, okay, maybe your qualification will exempt you. So I know the next questions, or most questions, would be, where do I start? Where can I start? I've got a BCom in this, or I've got a bachelor's in this or that. So what we do is, we do not give advice on where you start. It is the duty of the professional body. So ACCA has got an exemptions calculator where you will come through and then you will say, okay, this is where I am. My institution, I'll probably use UNISA in South Africa. So you will input your qualification, and then you will search. You will see, okay, the option of your university will show up. And then, did I say UNISA? Do something right here. Let's put UJN. Okay, this exemptions calculator seems not to be working today. So the exemptions calculator allows you to put in, okay, I think I just put in South Africa there. So here is if you are a CPA, okay, Monash University. I was looking for UNISA. Okay, this is CIPSA, this is ICAS. Okay, so if you were studying at this university, you would go in, you put your graduation year, and from there you will then be able to say, okay, there are no exemptions that were granted at this university. I'm just not sure, but I am so sure that I've put UNISA here before and I was able to get my university. But in any event, I will ask that if you've got a question about where you will start the qualification if you are new, there is University of Free State. So if you put in that I qualified in 2011 or whichever year, these are the qualifications from Free State in 2011. Then you've got a list of what you'll be exempted on with no exceptions. Then ACCA would then say, okay, if you want to be exempted in audit and assurance, right, you need to have done this module, right? So you can see there are various modules plus this module. So it's when it says plus, it means that there are 2 modules that you should have done in this qualification for you to get this. Other students normally just look at one and say, oh, I do, and then they think they've got the exemption. So if you are new, please try by your best to ensure you check this with your transcript. It's only financial reporting where there's one module. But PM and FM, looks like this is a combined module. They've got this plus these 2. So it's quite important for you to just go through your transcript, and you can get these emailed, or you can even send your certificates to ACCA, and then ACCA is able to come back to you and say, okay, you are exempt, you will start at this level. But the normal process is that you actually register with ACCA, register as a student, submit your qualification. After you submit your qualification, what then happens is you are able to upload your documents, and then within a certain period, I think about 14 to 15 working days thereabout, you get your exemptions. So obviously today you attend one of these sessions where you get more info, you register with the ACCA. If you get exemptions, upload your documents. The registration fee with ACCA is about £49 or £44. There is a discount for students in Africa. Then you upload your documents for exemptions, you come to us for classes, and then ultimately you write your exams. So these are quite important steps, and I always encourage students to say, try to come through to us after you have gotten your exemptions, because you don't want to start and then ACCA says, no, you won't get this exemption. And now you are stuck in between and you would have spent money on books or classes, though we can make some adjustments. But obviously, if you have used your books, it becomes a little bit difficult. So this is where and how students would start at their applied skills. So there are modules that are interlinked as you study ACCA. So you found that, like for performance management, if you studied AA, right? AA, it goes on to performance management. So this module helps build up the knowledge in performance management. Then from performance management, it goes on to, advanced performance management here. So that's why it's important, I think, from the question that I read earlier, if you are starting advanced taxation, and maybe you've never done it or you did it a long time ago, it's quite important for you to have knowledge of taxation. So you would just need to take that step to say, okay, let me recap on the main knowledge areas, which we will give you and support you. But obviously you need to be grounded and understand these. They used to call them fundamentals, but now what they've done is they've changed. They now call them applied skills. So what's happening here is just knowledge. Here you are now applying certain things. And now here it's now a higher level of evaluating and recommending, assessing, advising. It's a different level. So then there is your tax, PM audits, your reporting, your business law, your financial management. Then in the middle, ACCA recommends that you take this Ethics and Professional Skills module. It's a self-learning module that you learn in your ACCA portal. You don't need anything there in terms of your lecturer or anything. It's a self-learning module. You just pay your fee in your My ACCA account, you start learning. I mean, the only way to learn ethics or learning how to do things right, learning how to be a trusted finance professional is by you actually going through this course. So you go through the Ethics and Professional Skills module. It is recommended because what ACCA has done now at Strategic Professional, you earn professional marks. And I think I saw a paper that hit about 20% contributing to professional marks. So going through this module before Strategic Professional helps you a lot because you'll be able to address certain things when you're answering SBL papers. SBL has now been changed, updated, the syllabus is new. There is a certain section they've actually set aside for this, for professional skills, communication, and all of that. So it's quite important for you to really understand this. So ACCA has got this here because most students will get exemptions here, exemptions there, but as they introduce you to the profession, every student must take this because you might find that in your BCom, when you got exemptions, you probably did not learn as much about ethics, as you would do later on. So that's why you find that this module is mandatory for everyone. Then you choose your modules. So these two are essential, meaning you need to take them. And then options, you can pick any two. So remember now, it depends where you want to go with your career, which is what I will explain on this next slide. Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. So let's look at it in these two ways. There is an accountant who works in business, right? Then there is that accountant who's following this RA route. You're in public practice, you're in auditing. So this has been what we call our career fit model. ACCA recommends you take any two here. That has been the tradition that we all know. But prior to that, anyone could take any. We were recommending that it would be best for you to take these two. Let's say you want to go and work in an audit firm. Obviously, understanding tax and audit would be best for you. As CharterQuest, we only offer the essay variant of tax at both levels, the strategic professional and the applied skills. So this has been our career fit model to say, take these two, they are mandatory, but when you come here, if you want to go this audit pathway, take these two. If you want to work in business like that CFO, you know how to manage performance. You know how to manage finances. Even if it's a CEO or an accountant, you are not, maybe audit is not your thing. This is the route that you can take. As I was explaining that competency framework, you can see the technical aspects are all coming up here. So you can either choose your advisory, your audit reports, your CA route to say, this is what we've been recommending. And the options that are available, they've got ATX in there. I know there are still questions. Should it be the essay variant and all of that? And I'm pretty sure that as time goes on, we will get more clarity in terms of which one is best. But ideally, we were saying that there is your balance sheet. If you have to audit, this is where you're playing around, right? If you be in business, you are looking at profits. So your focus is on that income statement. I'm not saying that this accountant does not care about the balance sheet. Of course it matters. When he has to go and make some financial decisions, when they have to borrow and some of that, it all comes here. How strong are we? But what I'm saying is, where is your main focus? Where is your strength? Where is that thing to say, my objective here is to make profits. So I'm going to make sure that, okay, as they are reported, this is what I'm looking at. My objective here, I'm auditing, I'm in the practicing space. So I want to be making sure that I understand. Students over time have just been picking any two, or maybe they take this route and then later on they realize, oh no, I keep failing tax, maybe let me take AFM, or I keep failing this, let me take this. So you are allowed to take any of these two. But now it depends with you. So there's this pathway. There's also a pathway of following the new RA, where you then, this is required, plus any one of those three, depending now on what would be the way forward, if it's ATX and APM or between ATX and AFM. That is yet to be concluded. Otherwise, you find your SBL is here, your SBR is here. I mean, if you have to audit, if you have to do a lot of things, you need to understand your reports. But the good thing is these two, in as much as they might be separate, they are required. They are essential. So here you will learn your business reporting. Here you will learn those leadership skills, stakeholder management, risk, strategy, control, data and technology. It's packed here. ACCA has recently now started a process of preparing a pre-scene exam. So what's going to happen is all the other papers remain the way they are. You find your scenario on the day, you get that paper. But SBL, what's going to happen now going forward is that you will get a pre-scene 2 weeks before the exam. So for students writing SBL this September, they have received the pre-scene. So the pre-scene is going to be something that is, I think I actually downloaded a copy. It's like a 17-page document that has details about a company that you need to understand. Then on the day of the exam, you get scenarios. So as CharterQuest, what we then do is 2 weeks ahead of this exam, we will also start preparing you for that pre-scene. Of course, we don't know what the examiner will ask on the day, but we will try our best to give you possible scenarios to say, okay, if this company is doing this, we will look at all the factors. Let's say if it has to do with that company, we will evaluate it. We will go use all the models that we have, Porter's 5-4 series. We are going to go use our Porter's models. We're going to use our Pestel, all of that to analyze that company. So there's a lot that is going on. Analyze the digital, if this company is looking at the impact of that. I mean, we all live in a digital world now. So there's a lot that we will unpack in that 2 weeks to prepare you for this SBL exam. And then SBR and all the other papers remain the same. SBL will now be a 3-hour, 15 minutes exam like other papers, unlike previously it used to be a 4-hour paper, but now it will be a 3-hour paper. And also getting that pre-scene 2 weeks ahead. Only students who would have registered for the exam will be able to download this pre-scene in their My ACCA account. So we will also get it as a school. We get our copy that is different from yours, that guides and makes sure that we are following what ACCA requires. So that's what we are looking at in terms of the pathway. So like we said, it all depends how you choose your modules. This is applied skills. You can take any modules. But what we have done is we have put this together, FR and AA. You can see that it still feeds here. You can see FR feeds into SBR. So it's feeding into our path. Though we know that these are essential, but there is a relationship these modules have. FA, financial accounting, feeds into FR. These two, they talk to each other, this reporting and auditing. They talk to each other. So if you are studying and you're trying to say, which modules can I take in the next semester? Or how am I going to study? Because that's also a very important question you need to start asking yourself as you embark on your ACCA journey. So you need to be mindful and know that, okay, maybe I want to start. I love reporting. Why not then start with the modules you're comfortable with, where you know those are your strengths? So I would say I'll take FR and AA maybe, and then I'll decide, okay, maybe I can take these two exams at the same time. You will enjoy the benefit of taking these two at the same time. It's also like if you take SBR and AAA, you will also see the interlink. When you open the syllabus for SBR, for example, you will see the linkage. It's just the same thing if you open TX and ATX, there is a linkage. There is your PM. So you can take modules in any way, but obviously as a college that has gone through this, that has been supporting students, you just need to be a little bit more careful. We have put FM here. There's quite a lot that is happening. And AFM is one of the most difficult modules, FM and PM. It's one of the difficult modules at applied skills. So we always recommend to say, look, financial management has an integration of quite a lot. We would recommend you take these three. Take PM. You see PM is slightly higher. Take PM and then go to your FM. So this is the way we would recommend to say tax FRAA is a good start. PM, here's your management accounting. Obviously, it builds up. I mean, there's a performance management. It builds up from management accounting. So you will enjoy the benefits of trying to take these two at the same time or linking together one after the other. Go to your tax, go to your PM, and essentially going to your FM. Remember, this module, the ethics module, is very, very important. So for you to become an ACCA member, you essentially go through this and we support you with the classes. And this is what now I'm going to go through. So we've got two intakes as CharterQuest. This one that started in February to May. Then the second intake, we've got August to November. However, we have moved our classes to start in September, allowing most of our students, they want to take some exams in September. So we thought it's best to start our classes in September. It gives students who want to focus on their exams during the first week of September to get through those nicely. Payment options. So if you are self-funding, you can pay 20% upfront and the balance over 6 months. So that helps you to pay your fees in installments. And we also have up to 30% discounts available for self-sponsored students. We run online classes and on-campus classes, both of them. So I know there was a question around that, and we definitely can support you. There are also students who prefer to study by themselves at their own pace and time. We do have self-study packages, and I'll take you through those. And just a heads up, so if you enroll by the 31st of August, you can get a 15% early bird discount. This then means, you can easily get to these 30% discount also. And the good thing is that we do have what we call our combo discounts. So if you enroll for 4 modules, you can get up to 20% discount. So that's how you can get to these discounts. For attending this session, when you register, you get a discount if you are self-sponsored. So all these discounts are for self-funding students. I think as we have been building the business, we understand some students are unable to pay their fees and they are always asking what are the payment options or arrangements. That's where we are able to support. So this early bird discount is when you're actually paying your fees in full. So if you are one of those who want to take advantage of this 1 or 2 modules, as long as you pay in full, you will get this early bird. But our combo discounts, you can still be on our payment plans and you will still be fine. But I'll take you through the process, hopefully time permitting. Then our fees. So studying each module, our fees are 6,650. So let's say you want to take AA. This is the fee for 1 module. And what is included in this fee? It includes classes. So we will have our timetable that has all the classes, both tuition and exam preparation. All the classes are recorded. What we also do is we give you 3 textbooks. Remember at the beginning I said we offer both BPP and Kaplan. So they are the revision kits that you get. The BPP is a bonus. So you can either get a hard copy or an ebook. It depends with availability. But these 2, under this 6,650, you get hard copy books. So the study text is what includes from chapter 1 to chapter 15 or chapter 50, for ACCA, AA module. We will take you through from chapter 1 to 15 and your lecturer will always be guiding you how best to do it. We've got a tuition methodology that follows how we deliver exam-focused classes. Then you use your revision kits, to practice after your classes and do more questions. We've got 4 assessments that we have for you in the program. So this I will explain on the next slide. Then you will get a scheme of work that you cover everything as you go through it. And then you get e-course notes for your module. You'll be able to print them from your student portal. You will get 24/7 online support. Our admin team, our lecturers, they are part of a WhatsApp group where you'll be able to interact with them. And also, you have your access for 1 year. So let's say you start now, your student access will only expire next year in July or sometime this time. So that, in case you don't make it for the 2 or 1 exam cycle, at least you've got time to still prepare. But that is not our objective. Our objective is for you to pass first time. So this module, this package, the TEP package, we call it Tuition and Exam Preparation Package. It comes with a first time pass guarantee. And what are we saying in here? So in our first time pass guarantee, we are saying that we are doing everything we can to teach you. We are recording videos. We are giving you books, more questions, assessments. If you bring in your A game, obviously as a student, we expect 51% from you. The lecturer can be behind the computer or in front of you teaching. If you're not getting it, then it's a problem. All of this is what we say this is our 49%. This is us bringing the content to you. You just need to put in this much extra to grasp everything, follow the lectures, use the resources provided. The good thing is ACCA also provides more resources like the Student Study Hub. There's a lot of quizzes, practice questions, flashcards. Africa is privileged to have those resources. So for free, you don't pay. In other regions, they actually pay for Study Hub. And for Africa, ACC has given us for free. I'm not sure until when, but I always recommend students to say, use that education hub. So attending our classes in the TEP package, it's 6,650. This is for applied skills and knowledge. Strategic modules, strategic professional modules, they are 1,000 Rand more expensive. Then SBL. This used to be 2 papers for anybody who understands the history of ACCA. It used to be P1 and P3. Then they combined this into 1 module. And if anyone has seen this book, it's like 2 textbooks or 3. It's very, very thick. So this module is 13,750. The time we devote to it is much more. The content we have to cover is much more. So that's why you find that it's almost twice this module. So that is our structure for TEP. Then we get a student who says, CharterQuest, I just want to come for exam preparation. So you will come through for either it's in person or online. What then happens is you don't get tuition. Remember, you only come for exam prep. You've probably done this by yourself. You want to come for exam techniques classes when we are now preparing for exams. So which means you get video recorded classes for the revision classes. You only get the Kaplan revision kit. We don't give you the study text because we assume you've got the knowledge. Then you come through to take the 2 final assessments and you have the same support and access as any other student that would have. And then, I think on my first time pass guarantee, I needed to indicate also that what we mean here is that, or what we don't mean is that if you fail, you get your money back. But what this means is if you fail, we can take you back into class for free. So we've got certain terms and conditions you need to follow. If you followed everything and you put in your claim, we can take you back into class and we can even give you a further 35% on a future course. So that is what we say. We trust our delivery so much and how we have structured support around you to say, if you are serious and you're not missing classes, You are not starting to study 2 days before the exam and you've been saying, oh, I'll get to it. If you've been committed, you will definitely pass first time. So this is how we have our timetable structured. So this is AA. So the same time it runs on Saturdays, it will also run online the same time. So even if you are not in Joburg, you can join online. So we will run the class every Saturday. So you can see here, it says 7 to 9 tuition classes. This is the tuition phase, right? Then we said 2 progress tests. So what we do is, after completing 50% of the syllabus, we then say, let's cover a test. Let's test if you understood what we've been teaching you. There is a test 1. It opens on the 1st of October and it closes on the 4th of October. So you've got like 4 days there to take this assessment. You just need to find the time to say, okay, I've got a window, the test is open, now I'm ready to take the test. We use the CBE platform, the same platform you use when you go for your ACCA exams. That is what we use on our side. Then there is, you get tutors feedback. We mark your test and you get feedback. You come back, we continue tuition. There is another assessment. So that's where the 2 progress tests are kicking in. We give you feedback, you come back, we now start to revise. You know, we go through all these assessments, what you did wrong, your exam verbs. We go through the, you know, proper structure. Say, okay, if a question is saying is coming through as assess, what is the difference between assess and analyze? Those are some of the things that students fail to do when they are applying. They can have the knowledge, but they are not doing what the examiner needs. So that is where we come in there to say, okay, let's prepare you for all of that. Then you get 2 mock exams, right? So this is mock 1, this is mock 2. So these mock exams are like now 3 hours, like the proper exam, 3 hours with 15 minutes reading time, preparing you for the final exam. Test 1 and test 2 sometimes is half the time because we are just trying to test and see if our students are getting it. Then you get feedback. Then we come back to revise. We should release you now to take your exams. And I think if I look at the schedule, exams will be on the 4th and 8th of August. So classes will be anticipated to end on the 18th, right? Then within that week, you take your exams. So you will have enough time to recap, prepare for the exams, take study leave, and then go in to write your exams. So this is our live stream package. The structure applies to all our papers there. Then this is the online classes for, I think we've got one of our students who's more keen to say, if you'd be willing to do online. We've been doing online since 2020. I think we need to be out there about this so that our students are aware. The same intakes apply, the fees and the mode of delivery, right? The payment options, sorry. So here you're talking about your fees. Here, all the modules are 4,750. But for SBL, it remains the same, even if you are live streaming. The live stream option has got a first-time pass guarantee because at least we are able to monitor if you're joining the classes and or accessing the recorded videos. Then all the books that you get in that TEP package, they are included. The only difference is that you get ebooks, right, on this. This is because most students who are studying online already just prefer ebooks. That's why this package comes standard with ebooks. But you can add 500 Rand and get these 3 as hard copy books, all 3. So it will just be a matter of saying 4,750 plus 500, then you get hard copy books. You can collect or get them delivered. It will all be up to you in terms of how you need them. Then remember we said we've got self-study options. So you can say, I just want to buy your recorded videos and assessments. So you can get our recorded videos. We don't give you, sorry, these are the recorded videos. We don't give you the BPP kit. It's for our TEP students. Then you get all the assessments and the lecturer can mark for you. You also have access to just get the videos and notes. I know students have got, like I said, the student hub, the study hub, and all other options that you may get to get questions. So you may just say, I just want CharterQuest's videos and your student notes. And the access is still 1 year for all the modules or the study options. And it's 950 per module and 1,800. So it's all up to you in terms of how which option you want to take. And I'll be happy to take more questions if you have any. So for anybody who wants to know when and how exams are taken, so they are on-demand exams. The good thing is CharterQuest is an exam center for on-demand exams, and these are the exams we offer at our centers. If you look at them, they are all multiple choice, low-level modules. But when it comes to applied skills, strategic professional, they are under a session-based. So there's June, right? We've got September, we've got December, we've got March. There are 4 sessions a year. We offer 2 sessions of classes. So the class is starting now in September, right? You can aim for December, or you can say, I'll take 2 modules. I'll write one in December, then I'll write the other one in March. It's all up to you. Remember, you still have access to your resources and everything. So you can say, I'll break off, I'll take one, and then I'll take another one later. So if you join the first intake, the February intake, right? You've got an option to write in June or option to write in September. We are yet to have 4 teaching cycles, but for now we only have 2. This goes back to, the level of interest. I'm pretty sure as we are growing and the ACCA is growing in South Africa, we will have a lot of students and we can run all 4 sessions. But these 2 sessions are the ones we have, and they either focus on the June and September exams or the December or March. So it all depends on how you take these modules. Then for anybody who's taking AA and APM, please note of this, that these exams are written on the same day. I know at a center base, there's only 1 slot. I'm not sure if you take an online exam, if you're able, I'm pretty sure you should be able to take one in the afternoon session and earlier. That should be possible because I've seen 2 sessions. But just be careful, because we've had students who were, usually it used to be SBL and ATX clashing, but ACCA has moved it a bit around. So now you just need to be mindful. If you are taking AA and APM, look at the exam schedule when you are booking. That's when you can decide maybe to say, I think AAA can be December, maybe APM can be March. It all depends with you and when you're taking them. But when you're taking these 2 at the same time, just make sure that your exams don't clash. You plan ahead of time. So I think I have covered what we planned to cover on my side. The qualification, giving you your study options. I answered the questions that I had, and I'm sure by now you're able to make or take your next steps. Nadine did answer, I know not all of them were answered. They were still yet to develop. So what we'll do is we develop a web page where we will upload these questions and we update with answers regularly. I think that will help you. And I'm pretty sure we will be working together with ACCA and IRBA to get more information around this accreditation. And from my side, I answered 26, 27, and 28. So Mary, can we ensure that we have sent the policy, international student policy? And for ATX, I hope you understand why our course starts so late. The syllabus is, maybe you have attempted it, and I don't know, maybe you had another experience. We may want to engage on a separate note, and then we can see. But even from long back, ACCA has been testing on low level and high level content, and there is an assumed knowledge we cover. Otherwise, if we want to incorporate certain things there, the course becomes so long and even expensive for you. So that's why we would ensure that you come with that knowledge, or the lecturer will even guide you to say, before we start, this is what we are going to do. And the online classes I have answered. So I've come to the end of my part at 8 o'clock, exactly as planned. I am welcome to take any questions. If there are any questions related to Mr. T, I'm sure he can help us. But on my side, I think I answered Cindy. Okay, so Minenhle, there is the policy shared by Shazelle. Thank you so much. Then Minenhle is asking, if I want to join and I want to write in June, when can I register with CharterQuest? So I think you probably asked before, and I'm pretty sure you probably answered by now. So you can join by the February intake, then you can take the June exams. It all depends with you also if you want to start now, but only for next year. But I would assume you want to have the knowledge fresh. So probably taking the February intake would be best, aiming for June exams, so that the moment you finish your classes, you've got 2 weeks to prepare, then you jump into the exam. How similar are the electives to doing a postgraduate diploma in accounting? Is it equivalent to NQF level 8? So the ACCA itself is equivalent to an NQF level 8. However, what I'm not able to answer is the similarity. I mean, I think universities would have different curriculum in terms of what you would cover. But what I know is if you join ACCA with a postgraduate diploma in accounting, you're going to start and be required to do SBL and SBR. You will start at strategic professional. So yes, that academic qualification might be an NQF level 8, but when joining ACCA, you'll find that you start at strategic professional, because ACCA has got its own unique competences that is to achieve, which these universities as an academic qualification is not embedded. Like those ethics and professional skills, there are modules, there's SBL, there are case studies. ACCA has its own approach to tax and audit and all of that. So that's why most students, even with the postgrad or an NQF level 8, they would be required to start at NQF level 8. It will depend with your university. So I will recommend take your curriculum of your postgrad. ACCA syllabus is available on their website. Then you can compare the two. But what I know for sure is when you put in your postgrad, your exemptions will allow you to start a strategic professional. And that's why even the RA route, they need everyone to have done SBL and SBR. So it's hardly a student coming to do ACC and getting exemptions at strategic professional. Normally you then start there, because that's where the whole membership is embedded around in terms of the course and the pathway you eventually take as a NCCA member. I need to use University of South Africa. Oh, okay, I think for the exemptions. Sorry, I didn't see this, Cassie. Then Google is asking, if I want to write 4 strategic exams in December, can I book them and the study ethics over the next 2-3 months? Google, ACCA, I know as a tuition provider, we have a maximum of 3 to upload a student. I'm not sure if ACCA will allow you to take 4 exams at once, but I know in a sitting, in an exam diet, ACCA used to allow 3, a maximum of 3 papers. I'm not sure if they can allow 4, but I know 3 were the maximum allowed. Now I don't know what happened here. Oh, there we go. So I'm not sure if you can take 4, but I know per session you could take 3. And then the study, the ethics, there's no exam. It is a self-study module. You just use your computer, complete a module, and you are done. So I think it would be too much for you to say by December you can take 4 papers. Those papers have a lot of content. 2 papers at strategic professional, on average, students who take 2 are able to pass. Students who take 3, sometimes they end up failing 1. That's our experience. So we always recommend maybe try to take 2, but again, it depends with your circumstance. If you've got time to study, you're not working, I'm pretty sure 3 you can take. But what I'm not sure is if ACCA will allow you to take 4 exams in one sitting. I know it used to be 3. Like I said, ethics, there's no exam. You can just take the the module, and as you complete, it's actually done. There's no exam there. Then how long does the ethics modules take? Some students, on average, they take a month. But remember, it's a self-learning module. You do it at your own pace. Others can take 2 weeks. Others can take 1 week. If you've got more time to devote to it, and you've got access to the internet, and you're doing, everything, the activities in your modules, it can even take a week or 2. So it's a self-learning module. Then, do classes only happen on a weekend? So yes, so if your class is set on a Saturday for that module, yes, it will only run on that day. So let's say if your AA is on a weekend, it's on a weekend. We currently don't have an evening and weekend option, but I'm sure in future, as we get more interest, we'll probably be able to run 2 classes. We also try by all means to see if we can mix some of these modules, to say maybe AA can run on a weekend this year, next year evening, or ways our interest where we get more students. We do try that from time to time. Then Tabang is asking, how do I follow up on my exemptions? I already have access to the dashboard. All right, Tabang. So I'm going to advise you to send an email to ACCA Global, right? So this email, sent to students@acccaglobal.com. What you can do is just put in on that subject, please put in your student number, your ACCA student number, and you attach your transcript and your certificate. You might find that during that upload process, maybe something did not go right. So just send an email to students and make sure your student number is there and follow up on your exemptions. They should be able to support you. Then Wendy is asking, do the Big Four offer the 3-year traineeship? I think from what I understood, ACCA as of today was approved by IRBA to start engaging companies to be approved audit employers or for these trainee process for ACCA. So I am not yet sure if they were already accredited or they will be part of the new ones, but I'm pretty sure that what we can do is to, Mary, can we take this question? Then as we get more companies, or if ACCA gives us a link, we can assist Wendy with a link and where students can also get more information. So I think this will be key, Wendy, to answer. For now, we don't have an answer for this because I'm pretty sure ACCA is now working on who are the employers they are going to start talking to about their trainee. If you are asking about the practical experience requirement, so with that, you can be working, they are approved employers, or you can be working for any company. As long as you've got a chartered accountant who will sign you off to say, yes, Wendy did this and this and this, yes. So the good thing is working for an approved employer, there is support from ACCA. But if you work from any other company for the PER part, then that is the part where you can work at any organization. And the good thing is there are some approved employers. So that's where you can get support. There's more information on the ACCA website as well in terms of who and where. And I think I've seen some approved employers listed on the ACCA website in South Africa, should you want to try those specifically. At what levels do SIPA members start? I am not aware of what level they start, but I would recommend if you can use the Exemptions Calculator. I do think that can help you. I actually did not, I'm not allowed to give exemptions advice except if it's coming from this page. So I will try and put SIPA. Let's see what we get. And I'm also going to share this link with everyone who wants to know about exemptions. I think it would make it so much better for you. So only ACCA can give advice on exemptions. So I would also do the same thing to check for SIPA. All right, and I'll search SIPA. Okay, there is SIPA. So I don't know which year you would have qualified, but I'll put 2020. When you put yours, you just need to put your year. then you should be able to know, okay, this is for a full membership, right? You should have been completed active membership. You are exempted based on this calculator. It shows you're exempted for these 3 modules only, meaning you start from law and then you do all those applied skills modules and you go to strategic professional. So you can see, as much as it's a SAIPA with ACCA, you start at applied skills. That's where you actually start. So I hope that answers you. And then Minenhle, which audit firms provide ACCA programs? Minenhle, I think what I would do is I will send your questions to ACCA. They do handle this practical experience part. I'm not sure if that is the question or it's related to the RA route, but in any event, I think what we'll do is I'm going to share Kada's email. He is at ACCA. And anything to do with your practical experience requirements, your firms, which way to go, please do email Kada Piri at acc.piri. Sorry, they said CharterQuest. Sorry about that. It's Kada at accaglobal.com. Please discard, I don't even know how to delete, but please discard the first one. It's actually Kada Piri at ACCA Global. I will also give him a heads up to expect your emails. So it's Kada Piri at accaglobal.com. Anyone having questions around the practical experience, audit firms, I think it's best they are answered by ACCA. But please do go on the ACCA website. You can get more information. On my side, we can focus more on the classes, how we get you to pass the exams. Remember the 3 E's. I think it would be great. Then Zandila is asking how much is the ethics module. I also don't know it offhand, but all this information is there on the ACCA website. So let's go and check ACCA fees. There is a section where they've got the fees. So let me go there straight away. Let's go to the fees. I know sometimes you have to select a country, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I think I went to the wrong link. So this ethics module, you actually pay it yourself in your ACCA portal, and then you get access. So I'm going to put South Africa, and I'll be able to see the fee. Okay, so there are your fees for ACCA. So for new students, it's £45, right? That's your discounted rate. Your exemption fees are here, exempt fees. Let's see if we can get, so the ethics module is £75. That is the cost. So I hope that helps you, Zandi. Anytime, feel free to go to the ACCA website. I don't know if I share this search, will it help, but I've shared it. All right. Cassie said ACCA gives a list of training companies on their website, so you can, yeah, that's correct, Cassie. Thank you so much. That should be there. Nonkululeko, are we going to receive a link to the recording? Yes, Nonku. We'll definitely share the session with everyone who booked to attend the session. Zandi was fully answered. All right. So I don't know if there are any follow-up questions to the presentation or what we have just shared. Anything further to that, I'll be happy to address before we close. I know I don't see questions for Mr. T. So Mary, I don't think we need to worry him. I know he's in another session.
All noted.
All right. All right. So looks like we are at the end of our session. I am going to share my details and how you can get hold of us. From here, I know you're probably thinking about your next steps.
I saw Dumisani has just raised a hand. I think he
Okay,
wanted to ask a
Dumisani.
question.
Okay, Dumisani, you can go ahead.
Patience, thank you very much for this presentation, and really this is exciting times following the accreditation of ACCA by the IRBA. Mine is one a question, and then two it's a comment.
Yes.
The first question is, how do you guys deal with ATX for South African variant? Because my understanding is that I saw that you guys give textbook, but then I don't know if Kaplan or PPP caters for the South African variant. I just wanted to understand if you guys have a specific study text for ATX South African variant. But then my comment really is about, I've been a student with ACCA for a while now. I'm left with a module. I've been struggling to pass, but then the problem really is that there's a lack of tuition. I live in Cape Town, especially in Cape Town. So I don't know if you are planning on expanding into the Cape Town region, especially should the ACCA grow following the IRBA accreditation. For me, for tuition providers such as Shatterquest, this is really an opportunity to grow the offering across a number of regions. I mean, student progression will really be important following this accreditation, so that the firm can continue investing in the ACCA learnerships for the students for this accreditation to really have credibility. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dumisani. And I'm sorry I was rushing to close before you asked you asked your important question, and I also thank you for your comment. So firstly, with the most positive one, Cape Town is actually in our radar, and it's not more than 6 months. We should be at your doorstep in the next month. If possible, Mary, I think let's have a conversation with Dumisani, and then we can start building up on those plans with students like Dumisani. You are in the area, where we need to get started. You are the same people we're going to reach out to. So I definitely would like us to engage further. But like I said, the plans are not more than 6 months from now. So we are definitely expanding to your area. We are even going as far as Polokwane. So we are expanding at this point to other provinces other than Joburg. So Cape Town, Polokwane, you are in our radar. And I've taken your details, Dumi. Thank you so much. Yes, Gugu, there is Durban. You can only focus on certain things at a certain time, but it is on our radar. I know Durban, Northwest, they are on our radar, but they are more of a long term than the two that I've mentioned. But definitely, we are going to start expanding on to KZ, and I can imagine just attending online classes, just having that physical class is important. So we are definitely coming through. Then, Dumi, your question around your checks. It's a very good one. And you know what? I actually realized that I did not touch on it. So in our text modules, because it's the essay variant, we offer essay variant textbooks. So for TX, we offer taxation. We offer Hedron. It's a Hedron fundamentals in taxation. That's the one we offer. And we also offer questions on essay text. So those two books, I think questions on essay text is by Juta. The fundamentals of taxation is by Hedron. Those two are what we offer for TX. For advanced taxation, we offer income. Sorry, let me check the name again. I have the book. We offer South African income tax. It's the Silk textbook by LexisNexis. And then, as a revision kit, we offer advanced questions on essay text. So Kaplan doesn't write South African variant textbooks. So we would source locally from these publishers that I've mentioned. So in our course, we recently also upgraded this, and we increased fees to match these requirements, because we did have students who were saying, can I get a revision kit and a study textbook the way I would get it on Kaplan? So that's why TX is the Silk and advanced questions on essay text. And then tax, we said, is the fundamentals of taxation and questions in essay tax. So that's by Juta. So at any point, if you need more information, those are our email addresses and what, ask us. We will definitely send you the information. But when you pay for the TEP package or the live stream, you get those books. I hope I've answered you, Dumi.
I'm covered. Thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic. Then, Cassie, do you have textbooks for the UK text module? So it will depend. We do sell in our bookstore. We do have the UK text. We normally don't have a lot of stock because of interest. Sometimes we return those books due to no sales. But you can just check on our website if the variant you need is not there. I mean, if it's there. If it's not there, sometimes we can order for you. Like now we are preparing another order. So let's say we've got students who want this, we can add them on. So please do contact Mary. She can help you to acquire the certain book that you need if in case it's not online. But we do sell both BPP and Kaplan, and we try by all means to always have these books because we have relationship with both publishers. So we have to have these books. So even if you don't study with us, you can still buy books from our bookshop. So those are my contact details. And on our website, should you want to register, learn more about our study packages, just come through, click on ACCA. On campus classes, there are our fees at the bottom. Then there's online classes, our fees are there. If you want to visit the bookshop, just click on bookshop, right? And you go to ACCA. So the 2024 books are available. For those who are new, ACCA's books are valid between September and next year. So this is the Hadron's textbook we offer in our course. We also sell it. So even if you don't study with us, I'm pretty sure you can even buy books from us. So you are able then to say, okay, I'm looking for this. Then you can buy. This is the advanced questions in essay text. I know it's out of stock. So this is for ATX revision kit. So there is the one for TX. So these are all the BPP, Kaplan. We have them all listed here. Whether you want ebooks as well, we do have, whether it's Kaplan or BPP, revision cards. You know, those are flashcards, especially for self-studying students, should you want. Otherwise, most of these books are in stock, and there are some that just sell fast, but a lot of these books are in stock. So yes, I saw there was a question from somebody's earlier. Do you charge for exam center or it's free? So Minentle, for the exams I showed you, you pay us. So the exam center is only for those modules I was indicating, the CBE modules. You only pay for that exam. We do not have an exam center for TX, PM, those applied skills modules. You will take them at an ACCA exam center. So ACCA has got their own exam centers for papers like taxation, performance management, those session-based exams. You actually go to the ACCA exam center. It's administered by the British Council. That's where you take and you book your exam. But should you come to us, if you are asking for the on-demand exams, yes, you can take those exams at our center, and you just pay the fee related to your exam. There's no extra charge for that. Okay. I hope I've answered your questions to all the students who asked. Cassie, Minnie. I don't know if there's anyone else, Mary.
You've
Mary,
answered everyone. There's no one else left behind. I don't know if anyone has a question online.
All right. All right. So I think we can close the session. Thank you once again for joining. A recorded session would be emailed, and then, you know, you can go through this at any point. We will create a page where you can come back and get all the updates regarding the RA route. More questions will be posted there, answers crafted. We'll be, like we said, liaising with the two organizations involved, and we ensure that our students are fully informed. On this note, you took your time, 2 hours of your time to be with us today. It's been a great session, informative, yet exciting, a lot of information yet to be known and unpacked by ACCA and by IRBA. But thank you so much for everyone who made time to be with us this evening. Have a good evening. You've got our details. We'll be here to support you. And to the Chartercast team, thank you so much for the help. Thanks everyone, and all the best. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.